My name is Jay Penalver. I'm a representative and one of the senior bullion executives over at Gold Capital, specialize in the gold market for over 10 years now, helping clients all over the UK and globally buying and selling physical gold and physical silver from all different formats. We offer fast next day delivery, guaranteed, and we also offer a tailor-made service offering something that suits what you're trying to achieve. Because we understand that every individual has their own goals, their own motivations, and their own whys as to why they're buying and selling gold or silver. So we cater to those individuals. That's why we're ranked one of the youngest, fastest growing companies in the UK.
You're watching Success, Motivation, and Inspiration, where we share interviews with incredible leaders who are crushing it in life and business.
We're on Success, Motivation, and Inspiration with our guest today, Jay Penalver. Jay, I'm excited to talk to you. I've been doing a ton of research on you before the show here. You guys are crushing it with your gold company. How did you first get into the gold and silver? And can you kind of share a story of what drew you into this market?
Yeah, of course. And thank you for having me, Curtis. I suppose it starts from when I was 17. I always had a passion for sales. I started off in recruitment. I didn't go down the traditional university college route. Always knew I had a passion for helping people, just didn't know what avenue I wanted to go down. Started off in recruitment, done extremely well in a short space of time. Decided to start my own recruitment business. Unfortunately, it was doing extremely well. COVID collapsed the business, so we had to move on. So I had many failures, setbacks. I've had to start from nothing. I knew I wanted to stay in sales, didn't know where or how to sort of take it to that next level. Then discovered gold. I am part of a company called Gold Capital. I'm one of the senior bullion executives, the face of the company, and essentially leading from the front. I'm helping the company grow in terms of volume, in terms of clients, in terms of revenue, marketing, ideas, business ideas, etc., etc. So I've been here now for about 3 years. I've been in gold about 9 to 10 years now. Decided to join this company because they are very tight knit. Their values really align with mine. I like how they treat their clients, and I like how they sort of focus on long-term relationships, because that's important for gold. Gold is a long-term plan.
Yes, sir.
And they link that to clients and what they're trying to achieve. So here I am.
That's awesome. And one of the cool things about gold is gold has never had a crash. I mean, there's never been, look at the stock market, any other investment, real estate market, stuff goes up and down. We've got a bunch of crashes. Gold is, I think today, the highest it's ever been as far as the value. So is that a big reason you get into it as far as because it was such a great investment that is safe?
Yes. I mean, I like gold because it's honest. It's a very transparent commodity or investment, I guess you can call it, right? But it's something that can't be mass produced. It's found in the ground. It's mined from the ground. You can't manipulate or lie about gold. It's a very honest type of product, as you can call it. And you're absolutely right, Curtis. It's a reliable type of product. It's never crashed. Of course, it's had its dips, as with everything in life, but factually, it's never ever crashed. We can't say the same for property. 2008, we saw Lehman Brothers, the big recession. And recently, the stock market, when Trump introduced tariffs, that completely, plummeted the stock market, and it's starting to slowly rebuild now. So yeah, gold has never crashed. It's at a record high at the moment, so we're at a very busy time for the company. But yeah, the future is looking bright.
What problems are buyers typically calling you to solve when they reach out to Gold Capital?
Various. Honestly, we have many people from many different walks of life. The main common one, I would say, Curtis, is people with their current investments or their savings accounts, for example, are lacking privacy from their money. Governments, banks, the taxman. The main other problem, I'd say, is lack of control over their money. And the common one that we receive on probably a daily basis, Curtis, is tax. Having something that's physical that they can transfer and move and pass down to their loved ones. It gives them full privacy and control over their money. So that's, I'd say, the most common, but everyone, again, has their own sort of purpose as to why they're buying it. So yeah, I'd say that's the most common.
I was talking to a friend too. They're, just interviewing folks on the TV show and the magazine and TV show here. We get a lot of incredibly successful individuals watching this and as guests as well. One of the guys was talking about having gold or even silver bullion, talking about the ability to transport. So you could throw a gold brick in your suitcase. You got $1 million running around with you, compared to what it would be like to try to transfer. If you're rolling around with suitcases, $1 million in suitcases is not something you move easy. Now, yeah, it's just kind of a cool thing to see that the amount of value that can be packed into such a small, even a gold coin. Now, for someone new, what does LBMA approved mean, and why should they care which mint their gold actually comes from?
So every country has its own mint. Our country, being the UK, is the Royal Mint. So you've got the US Mint, South African Mint, etc., etc. Those are the most common, right? When buying and selling, let's just talk about coins in particular. You want to be looking at UK coins. Let's just say you're a UK resident, for example. You want to be buying UK gold coins that originate and are produced from the Royal Mint. The reason why is because they're reliable and they also qualify for tax exemptions. So any UK gold coin that is stamped with a monarch, being King Charles, Queen Elizabeth, or any previous monarch, is deemed as legal tender. So it can't be physically taxed. So it's exempt from capital gains tax and exempt from VAT in the UK. And the same goes, there's different laws and regulations in different countries, of course, but that's the common rule for buying and selling directly when purchasing from a mint or an LBMA-approved dealer. So that's very, very important when buying, making sure that it's coming directly and produced from the mint, and knowing where, of course, you're buying it has to be certified and approved by the LBMA. Very, very important thing to keep in mind.
Now, what are 3 questions that every buyer should ask a gold dealer before they spend their money on the product?
3 questions I would say is what's gold going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years? How will gold be in comparison to my current investments or savings account, and how will it be of benefit? And I would say the most common is, how do you sell? Because it's all well and good buying the stuff because it looks shiny and it looks pretty, but how do you sell this stuff? And how can you get it for the right price? And how can you move it very quickly and very easily and make sure that it's not growing grey hairs on top of your head? Those are the 3 most common questions. How long you should hold it for? How long you should hold it for, and that's going to sort of dictate if that's in line with your goals. Number 2 is buying and selling. And then the third one, as I mentioned, is, of course, making sure that, it's in line to what we mentioned.
When would buying bars or non-UK coins make sense instead?
Right.
Just anything anything non-UK, when would it make sense?
No, great question. Great question. I'll always be honest. I'm very black and white. We have clients that would say we want to buy gold bars. And obviously the questions we have to ask is why, and what's your sort of motivation, and why are you so strictly focused on bars? I'll be honest, gold bars typically have lower premiums in comparison to gold coins. The reason why, Curtis, is because gold bars are just a clunk of gold. There's no design, there's no feature. They're just melted down, as you know, right, into a funnel system, and then they create this sort of mold of a bar. There's very low premiums with bars. So you're buying very, very close to the gold price. Whereas gold coins, they're printed, designed, there's artists involved, there's features, there's series, there's numismatic demand and collectability for that coin. So there's a slightly higher premium. So the only benefit would be if you want to pay a low premium and you want to move your gold very, very quickly. If you're buying into the market short term, not long term, gold bars are probably better. But if you're asking from a global perspective, I would say the gold bars would be the only benefit in the sense of just buying strictly on the weight. You don't care about the design. You're not a collector. Yeah, you're purely focused on getting it from the ground, melting it into a bar, and then shifting it as quickly as you can. Providing the market goes up, you can make a small profit, and then you just keep recycling the process. That's one thing I'd probably say is the biggest benefit to buying gold bars globally.
Speaking about the LBMA approved stuff out of the UK, make sense to buy non-UK produced coins or bars versus stuff that was produced in the UK. Is there any difference?
If you're strictly a collector, so there's a very very common coins. You've probably heard of some over in the US, the American Eagle, which is the most common, and then you've got
Yep.
the Krugerrand, which is South African, and then you've got the Maple Leaf as well, which is Canadian. Those are probably the most common. We have loads flooding in the UK, in and out. We actually sell some as well. I would say they are the most attractive type of coins for collectors because they fall under capital gains tax. So as soon as you hit your allowance of capital gains tax, if you're a high taxpayer in the UK, it's subject to 28%. So if you're a high taxpayer, you could be liable up to 28%, which is obviously not ideal. But if you're a collector, Curtis, and you don't care about profit, you don't care, you made your money, you're happy, you want to sail off into the sunset, you just strictly love the design of the coin, let's just say the American Eagle, which is a beautiful coin, you'll just buy the coin, put it on your shelf, and enjoy it. And collectors do that. We work with huge amounts of collectors that love doing that. They'll pay the premiums, they'll pay for a rare coin, they don't care about their taxes. Yeah, they've reached that point in their life where they're not bothered. So I would say that's probably the only time when you're a collector, you're not looking at it as an investment.
I thought that question might trip you up, but I love that response. I love just fast, aggressive, mean cars. I've been looking at some old Mercedes. I've got a BMW 550i M Sport, twin turbo V8, nice little vehicle right now. Looking at a
Nice.
Mercedes SL55 AMG. But I was looking at
Nice.
the difference between some of the other multi-million dollar, and it's a good comparison. It's like looking at a Mercedes that's multiple millions of dollars, slower, worse handling, worse performance. Everything about the car is actually a worse vehicle compared to the newer, faster one. But it's cool. You pull up in a multi-million dollar with going doors on it. That's pretty
It's the
sharp.
state. Exactly. It's the status. It's like buying a classic Ferrari against a modern Ferrari, right? Classic Ferrari is no power steering. The car will probably break down in a year or so if you was to drive it more than one day. But it looks cool. You can show it off, and it has sentimental value. It's historic value with that Ferrari. So I suppose if you relate it back to collectible gold, I guess you can call it. Collectors are interested in that. They're not interested in it from an investment standpoint. So we serve both. We serve investors and collectors, and we try to cater for what they want, and we match it to what we have to what they're trying to find, and build on from there. Really,
The demand for gold is rising like crazy. What's driving that interest right now in simple terms?
central banks, central banks, central banks are the ones that govern our monetary policy system. So they're the ones essentially who print the very money we use. Okay. Bank of England is ours. They are buying gold, Curtis, in numbers we have never ever seen in history. Over the last 3 years, they have purchased over 1,000 metric tons worth of gold. So to put that in perspective, 1 metric ton is worth, well, if you convert, I'm trying to do the conversion rate here. It's about 55 million pounds for 1 metric ton. 55 million pounds. So in dollars, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, 60, 70, something like that.
60, yeah.
Something like that. So they've purchased over 1,000 metric tons. The States actually, Curtis, own the most amount of gold reserves in the world, and they are buying it like crazy. So where the US are obviously you have the US dollar, the world reserve currency, is the most relied upon currency in the world. When Trump or the US government make an aggressive move in the market, like the recent tariffs, it can tend to spike the gold price because it causes uncertainty with the economy. Investors that have stocks or properties or bonds or ISAs or savings or whatever the case may be panic because they look at their investments. Those investments are affected by the economy, and then they look at, okay, what protects people during times of uncertainty? We know it's gold. So
Yeah.
that's when we start to see the spike. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, why are central banks buying so much gold? That's the question. That's the real question. So yeah, they are buying it in record numbers. That, I believe, in my humble opinion, is what's pushing the price of gold up at the moment.
Going back to coins versus bullion versus smaller fractions, which buyers actually fit best to purchase 1 ounce coins versus smaller fractions besides budget?
Yeah, so I mean, the most common is your 1 ounce gold coins, 24 karat. They're the most common. They're 24 karat. So when you're working off the gold price, you can buy those gold coins and they will follow very close to the gold price. So if the gold price goes up by 20% a year, let's just say for argument's sake, your gold coins are going to follow very soon. Whereas if you're buying 22 karat, it's very difficult to sort of track the price. It comes in various sizes. You can buy 1/10, you can buy a 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, but the most common is 1 ounce. Gold bars, you can buy as little as 1 gram, which is probably the size of my nail. Super small.
Yeah, into your nail, huh? Yeah. How do you think about timing buying dips versus steady accumulation?
I always say to people, this might sound cheesy, but the biggest cost of not owning gold, biggest cost of buying gold is not owning any, right? And I think that whether the price goes down by 1%, £100 cheaper, $100 cheaper, let's just say, or $100 more expensive, Curtis, it doesn't defeat the bigger picture. Because if you're holding gold for a long period of time, why would it matter if you're buying in at a discount or you're buying in at a slight premium? Of course, gold is, and the whole philosophy is you buy on the low and you sell on the high. I get that, right? But that's only if you're working in a volatile market like crypto, stocks and shares, etc. If you're working on a long-term, stable type of investment, store of wealth, it doesn't really, in my opinion, people probably argue against this, but I think it doesn't really matter. So my opinion is grab the price while it's at now before it does become unaffordable, and then just hold on to it and just let it do what it does.
I hadn't thought about like that. I've always been one to buy low, sell high. That makes a lot of sense though. Now, what's the difference between loose bullion coins and graded coins, and who should choose which?
Great question. Very, very good question. We get that question every single day. It's the most common. Loose coins are purely based on the weight of gold. So they come in a capsule, usually. You're just buying purely on the weight. Okay. Yes, it has a design, etc. But you're buying in at lowest premiums and it has purely just the weight of that coin. So you're looking at it strictly from an investment standpoint. Graded, on the other hand, is the same gold content, but it comes in a sealed slab tamper-proof case. Now, we work and partner with the PCGS, who's the professional coin grading service. They're based in California and Miami, and we're authorized dealers of them. There's only one of 15 companies in the UK. We're proud to be one of them. And essentially, how it works is, Curtis, these coins are sent off to the PCGS. They're special design coins. They're limited mintage coins. They're quite rare coins already. But what would happen is they will get sent off to the PCGS and they will go through a 8-week grading process. Now, that 8-week grading process, they'll authenticate the coin. They'll grade the coin basis on its condition, and they'll place in a slab tamper-proof case with a unique serial code. You can scan that code on your phone, and it will tell you exactly how many of those coins are in circulation in the world. So then it becomes a collector's piece, I guess you can say, but it's still for investment purpose. So what it does, it mitigates risk and it pulls your chances. You've got the gold price, you've got the collectible price, you've got the rarity behind that coin. So if the gold price goes up, the collectible demand goes up, you're basically just doubling your chances. So I'd say that's the difference. If you're willing to take a hit and say, do you know what, let me go into the market and try and get the best type of profit or the most amount of profit, I would say go for graded. If you want to try and go into it steady, which is absolutely fine, start off with loose and then maybe you can start to dabble into the graded market, because it can be a bit confusing for anyone who's never graded or understood that market before.
I am loving this. You're a rock star. A bunch of these questions, I expected a quick, simple answer, and you really are opening up my mind a lot more than what I had studied before the interview here. Walk us through the basics of pricing. You talk about spot price, premium, and total cost.
Yeah. So spot price is the live trading price of gold. That's what we use to dictate what our stock costs on a daily basis. So if the gold price moves up by 1% today, at the moment it's super expensive. And yeah, customers are not happy. Let's put it like that. But it's super expensive.
Investors
So
love it though, huh?
investors love it. Yeah, new clients don't love it. I can tell you that for free. But no, it's great. It's great. It's great for existing clients. It's not so great for new clients. But hey ho. So to explain your question, answer your question, Curtis. So the gold price, spot price, is the live trading price. We use that to essentially dictate what gold costs on that day, and then we pass that information on to newer existing clients. Premiums covers transportation, covers minting, it covers storage fees, and it of course covers dealer fees as well. So of course we as a business, we take a small margin, but you won't really find a lot of premiums with loose coins. Believe it's around 4 to 6% roughly. Above spot, graded is slightly more because of the cost of sending it to California, getting it graded, going into a case, getting it verified, and then of course small fees as well with dealership fees and et cetera, et cetera. So um, yeah, I would say that's the difference is spot price, premium, usually 4 to 6% above spot is where you want to be looking at. But if you can get it cheaper, let me know because I'll snatch them all up.
This interview is sponsored by Newswire magazine. We celebrate the entrepreneurs and thought leaders shaping the future, those who don't just adapt, but innovate, who inspire others to think bigger, lead boldly, and create lasting change. Only a select few are featured in Newswire magazine, and for those who earn a place on the cover, the opportunities are unmatched. Your story shared with a global audience, your achievements celebrated on national billboards, reaching millions. Every leader has a story. Every vision deserves a platform. Who will rise to the top? Stay tuned. You're witnessing greatness unfold.
Hey, welcome back to Success, Motivation, and Inspiration. We're on today with Jay from Gold Capital. Jay, welcome back. It's good to see you, brother.
How's it going, buddy?
Let's talk storage. What's the checklist for keeping gold safe at home versus in a vault?
So keeping gold at home is the recommended option for us because we believe, especially if you're new to gold, Curtis, there's no better feeling in the world than having something physical in the palm of your hand. Because instantly you feel confident and, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, understandably. I would say in that case, definitely take delivery to your home or business address. When you start to scale into the tens of thousands to the hundreds of thousands to the millions of dollars or pounds, then start to look at storage. There are fees. We partner with Malcolm, who are a global company. They charge between, I think it's 1% a year. But your gold is fully insured, fully safe, fully protected. You can take it out, access it anytime you please. So it just depends on your comfortability. I appreciate, gold is high value. People might not feel safe with having it at home. It just depends on the individual.
Now, if someone needs to sell fast, how does that process actually work?
First of all, try not to. Try and hold on as long as you can. But if, of course, someone has an emergency, you never know what's around the corner. People need to sell fast. You can come straight back to us. We have a buyback policy in place. So for any existing client who buys for us, graded or loose, you can come straight back to us. You'll have a dedicated account manager who will be your point of contact. Be myself, that could be a member of the team, who will be your eyes and ears from start to the holding position to the very finish, which is, in my opinion, the exciting part where you make a bunch of money. So yeah, if you ever need to sell, you can pick up the phone to us. We'll give you a valuation. If you're happy with the valuation, we'll pay you out same day and go from there. If you decide to buy more, great. If not, then I'm sure we'll still be friends.
Now, this is a little more on the technical side, but are those transfers, say somebody's selling you back $100 or 100,000 USD worth of gold? Are you doing an escrow? Is it a wire transfer? What's the best way to transfer the funds?
Typically, we'll do a check or we'll do a bank transfer just because it's more efficient, it's quicker, it's safer. Typically, if you've got those clients' details on files, we know obviously we run thorough checks anyway. We do anti-money laundering checks with every client, and we've got the necessary paperwork in place with every client. So we run security checks just for the protection of the client as well as us as well. But yeah, typically it's bank transfer or check. We don't take any cash or anything like that. Unfortunately, I know. Yeah.
Easy to launder money with cash, and if you're doing cash for gold, huh?
Gold is very, very heavily susceptible to anti-money laundering. It is probably one of the most common things to wash your money with. So unfortunately, as a business, we'd love to take your cash. Listen, I love cash. I think cash is king. I think cash is brilliant. I mean, I can't even buy a coffee anymore with cash. It kills me every day. But unfortunately, as a business, we need to ensure that we're running things properly, doing things due diligently, and making sure that we're following the right steps and keeping everyone safe.
Hey, if you're watching this right now on Amazon Fire TV, I would highly recommend go to the website, go check out gold-capital.co.uk. You can scroll down, you can actually, there's a ton of information. You can get, not only learn a lot, but also purchase directly using credit, debit, quite a few different cards as well, right?
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah, so we take credit card or debit card, and then once you're on board as an existing client, we also accept bank transfer as well, and we also accept check, by the way, as well. So we can take checks, typically credit card or debit card. We don't have an entry level, by the way. Most companies do. We treat everyone equally. We don't believe in judging people on their financial position. So if you're looking at £100 or $100 to 100,000 to 1 million, we'll treat you the same, and we'll give you the same type of service as we would with anyone. So yeah, get in touch with us, and I'll be more than happy to take your call and help you.
Very cool. So again, if you're watching this on Amazon Fire TV, pause the screen, scroll down. There'll be a link in the article. Click that link. Just get on, check out the website, do a little bit of self-education. I'm learning a ton with this interview, but also you need to know what you're buying. I think this is a great investment, a great thing to look at. What red flags should people watch out for when they're choosing a gold dealer?
Red flags is buyback policy. You want to have peace of mind when buying from a dealer. Is that dealer going to give me the same service as to when they were trying to get me to buy the gold so quickly as to when I want to sell it, right? Because people want the money quickly, but when you have to offload it, how quick are they to take the call? So that's very important. Make sure you've got a buyback policy in place. I would say number 2 is make sure that they have accreditations and stamps of approval by big establishments or or establishments within the gold world, like the PCGS, for example, and make sure that they are working in line with your goals. That's probably the most important one. Not something you probably expect me to say, but I would say make sure that they're in line with your goals. And what I mean by that is a lot of people who are in the sales industry, I suppose, let's put gold aside, is very commission driven, right? Let's all be honest. And
Yep.
people who are working in that industry can get caught up on the fact that let's focus on the short term. Let's make a quick buck. Exactly. You've got to make sure that that company is working in line to your goals. You've got to say to that company, whether that's us or another gold company, guys, I'm letting you know in advance, I'm holding my gold for 10 years. What type of service or what type of relationship are we going to establish or grow within that 10-year period? And you'll be able to feel it out, right? You have that sort of third ear, I suppose, and you'll know. We focus heavily on client events. We host quarterly client events. We just had one in March in central London. We had a lot of our clients come down and network, free course meal, the wine tasting, etc. We go out and meet clients face to face, play a bit of golf, food. We go out to actually meet clients personally and put a face and name. We do things the old fashioned way, I suppose, but don't fix something that's not broken. It works, and it allows people to connect with who you are. Because the phone opens up communication, but meeting face to face is what bonds a relationship, in my opinion. So, yeah, 3 things to look out for. those are the ones.
Perfect. Now, can you share a story of a cautious buyer who became confident after working with you and what changed for them?
Yeah. Gosh, we've had so many. Great question. We had someone who was 18 years old. We initially thought, sounds a bit strange, but this chap, this individual, he knew so much about the economy and the financial markets. He was so well educated, and I suppose it kind of blew me away a little bit because typically when someone's calling at that age, you think, it's a bit strange, or they're calling on behalf of their mom or dad or someone. But no, this guy was very, very knowledgeable, and it put me in my place. It humbled me massively. I learned so much of that individual, and we still stay in touch till today. And yeah, that's something that really took me by surprise. So moral of the story is never judge a book by its cover, and treat everyone the same.
That's awesome. Now, you actually left school early and built your business from nothing. What daily habits helped you to succeed?
I am very, very routine driven. I know you get your gurus online, Curtis, that say wake up at 4 a.m. and you're gonna make millions. I'm not that bad, don't worry. I just believe,
Instagram influencer?
yeah, that's it. I just believe in not a regimen life because I feel like you've got to have a healthy balance, but I believe in having a structured life where, you're looking after your mind, you're looking after your body socially, mentally, physically, in many, many aspects. I make sure I get enough sleep. I make sure that I'm training every morning. I make sure that I'm reading. I make sure well, most of the time trying to eat the right food. I'm not the best at that, let's be honest. And I think it's just trying to stay disciplined. I've had many, many setbacks in life, many failures. I've been pretty much on my own since I was 16, 17, and we can go into that into the podcast. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, failures, abandonment, letdowns, you name it. And I'm sure you've gone through many in your life as well, as with everyone. Everyone's got their own story, but it's about staying persistent and just saying, my goal and where I want to be is so much bigger than the feeling that I'm feeling now. So you've got to look past that and break through that barrier. And it's easier said than done. I get it, but it's just a process.
I love that you mentioned that everybody's gone through junk. And that's something I've said a lot is the difference between winners and losers is losers use their past as an excuse for not doing what they're supposed to be doing today. Winners use it as a reason to become something better. How do you explain gold to parents or retirees without using jargon?
All right. In very simple terms. So I would say for people who are like me and a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to technology, I would say, look, just keep it simple. The last thing you ever want to become, regardless of age, status, male, female, is try to become a gold expert. Leave that to us. We've specialized in the market for years and years and years. We've got years of combined experience. Our team are fantastic. We really care and are passionate about what we do. So leave that to us. We are here to be your eyes and ears. I always like to call it, it's a bit cheesy, but I like to call it an armchair investment. You sit back and let us do the hard work. So I suppose my advice would be is just look at the basic fundamentals. You mentioned at the start of the call, Curtis, gold is reliable, Jay. Gold is quite secure. Gold reacts well during times of uncertainty. Look at the basic fundamentals, tax, control, privacy, etc. If all of those things line up to what you're trying to achieve, the technicalities after, let us deal with it. We can manage it for you. We can take that burden off you, and we can help you throughout the process so you can get on with your everyday life. People are busy, understandably, and we can take that pressure off you. So yeah, I'd say that's the most important thing.
Now, what myths or fear tactics should buyers ignore this year?
That's an amazing question. The biggest myth is staying away from the financial gurus that are online. And I don't like the word hate. I strongly dislike them when they make these stupid and unrealistic predictions. No one has a crystal ball. I understand that, right? But be realistic with people. It's these big institutions. I'll name some: JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, UBS, etc. Some you may have heard of, big institutions, right? We've got some actually in Canary Wharf surrounded by us. And these guys are making predictions that Never going to happen. And they make these predictions every single year, Curtis. And I look at it and I read these articles every single year. And I say, why are you fooling people? You know, 'cause these institutions, by the way, they involve themselves with gold, right? So they profit off of their articles, right? They have their own
Propaganda.
investment. Yeah, it's all propaganda, investment banks, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I think just be honest with people. You know, don't give people or take people down the garden path and try to, you know, give them false information. You know, gold is going to skyrocket to $10,000 in a year, and it's not going to happen. It's slow, it's steady, it's secure. Yes, it's grown in value, absolutely. But just be honest with people. It, it's not going to reach those numbers like that. We're not looking at Bitcoin.
Well, and also, again, you don't have the volatility of the risk. Anything that can give you 1,000x return overnight, you can lose everything you ever had by investing in that same type of item. So that's a thing that I love about gold is there's not the volatility. It's a slow, continual growth. Now, I've got one more question for you here. I know you're on a short time frame, and I've asked you a lot more questions than you probably expected. So if someone watching this right now wants to start small, what is the safest way to place their first order with Gold Capital?
You can reach out to us mainly through downloading our investment guide. So if you go out on our website, click on free guide, and you'll be able to fill in your details, and one of our expert team members will be able to reach out to you, answer your inquiry, answer any questions you may have, give you a bit more of an insight into how we work and how the gold market works. And therefrom then, they'll be able to provide and understand your budget and be able to work in line to what your budget is. Our recommendation is to start very, very small, but of course, everyone has their own goals, but start small. It's not about becoming the next Elon Musk. It's about building trust and building confidence in what you're about to step into, and whether you're new to it or you're someone who's dabbled into it in the past. So yeah, start small, reach out to a member of our team, download our free guide, start learning about gold and silver, and we'll be able to help you and take things from there.
Thanks for watching Success, Motivation, and Inspiration. This episode was designed to help you level up. See you next time.